I want to talk a little bit about your comment that anti-Semitism has been baked into the culture. So we're talking about what's going on now, but this has been going on for hundreds, thousands of years. When I went back in 2010, I went to Israel and I went to Palestine, and I'll be honest, I was like, this is a very clearly a complicated matter that is not black and white. And when I spoke to a person, I had different guides in different places, a person in Palestine and a person in Israel. By the way, they don't even remember. I swear to God, I am not making this up. Maybe they were idiots, but they don't even remember where this began or why. And they just take me back to the Bible of Ishmael and Israel. And I'm like, really? We're going back 2,000 years to this? So why is this anti-Semitism baked in, as you say? Is it because Jews killed Christ? I'm asking you honestly, where did this begin? Why has this been a thing for so many years before today?
Oh, God. Well, it goes back before Christianity itself. It goes back to this story of, I write about this in my book, this Egyptian priest. And it's worth, really, it's like one chapter in my book. I'm honestly happy to make it free for everyone that listens to this show, or at least that chapter of it, because it's too complicated to summarize right now. What I would say a good rule of thumb is, and certainly it goes back to the origins of Christianity, the way that that story became understood, not by Jesus himself, but by the people that followed. What I would say on one foot, though, is that Jews represent difference. And difference is something, whether it's the difference of not believing in Jesus being the Son of God, or the difference, or any kind of difference, that difference has been used to scapegoat, hate, and ultimately create a politics that's organized against us. The question of why it persists is like the question, right? It's like, how do you explain something that has endured for so long? And far be it for me to tell you why. It's like asking me why gravity works. I don't know.
Nobody
I don't know
can
why.
really answer it though, Barry. That's what's so crazy.
I think there's one very, very, I think it comes the closest to explaining this, which is there is a wonderful, wonderful scholar called Ruth Weiss who created the field of Yiddish studies at Harvard. Don't hold the Harvard part against her. She's extraordinarily critical of Harvard. And she talks about how there's lots of explanations of what anti-Semitism is. Yes, anti-Semitism is. Yes, it's a shape-shifting virus. Yes, it turns, the Jews into a symbol and of whatever the most loathsome qualities are of that culture, as I talked about before. But she's like, no, it's more simple than that. It's actually more pragmatic than that. She says anti-Semitism is the organization of politics against the Jews. In other words, anti-Semitism is the politics of blame and grievance. She calls it the politics of the pointing finger.
This podcast is sponsored by Active Skin Repair, a skin health company helping people heal with natural, non-toxic, medical-grade ingredients. Active Skin Repair utilizes a molecule called hypochlorous acid. And when you apply the skin molecule, it works by mimicking the natural immune response to cleanse, soothe irritation, reduce inflammation, and support healing. Active Skin Repair can be used to treat a wide range of skin issues, including cuts, scrapes, burns, sunburns, diaper rashes, and other types of skin damage. This is invaluable for moms, maybe you've noticed. It is also safe and non-toxic, making it suitable for use on all skin types, all parts of the body, and it even helps with rosacea, eczema, and acne-prone skin. With over 500,000 happy customers, thousands of 5-star reviews, and ingredients so safe and so clean, they can be used by the youngest member of the family up to the oldest. So now you have one simple solution for all of your family's skin health needs. Just visit ActiveSkinRepair.com to learn more about Active Skin Repair and to get 20% off your order. Just use the code Jillian.
So let me spell it out a little bit more.
Okay.
There is a reason that anti-Semitism tends to blossom and catch on like a fungus in times of incredible political and technological turmoil, where people are looking for an explanation of what went wrong. Why was I left behind? Why was myself, my community, my family screwed over? And there's a lot of people that have the right to ask themselves that question in this moment, as they have in many other times in history, and especially economic depressions. Think about what's going on right now in this moment with the technological revolution that we're only beginning to live through, with the absolute collapse in authority structures that we used to believe in and institutions that we used to rely on, at the economic transformation that AI is going to bring. A lot of people, or at communities that have been hollowed out by globalization or fentanyl, or just look at the stew of things that are happening in this moment. Anyone that studies history will not be surprised if I told them, hey guys, guess what's happening right now? Jews are getting scapegoated. It's like that is the template throughout history. And there's lots of groups that get scapegoated. There is no one that writes about this more brilliantly than the scholar René Girard. If people have not read him, I cannot recommend his work more highly. He is like the guy on the question of scapegoating. And historically, Jews have been the go-to scapegoat. So those are just some explanations that get us somewhere to answering the question of why it's endured. There's spiritual reasons, but there's also just very clearly pragmatic political reasons. You talked earlier, Jillian, about how the left and the right are kind of like singing from the same hymnal. This is the thing that is unifying them.
Yeah, like when you talked about the woke right on your one podcast, and you said specifically, hold on, I have so many notes for you. You go, now it seems like because everything was taboo, nothing is taboo and nothing is forbidden. And I thought, oh my God, that is what I'm starting to hear. It's like, yes. Well, now I can make fun of illegals and call them wet. I'm afraid I'll get triggered by the friggin' algorithm, but slurs. Like you know, yes. I can say these things and say these names and it's allowed. But I was watching all of this unfold on the right when it was just like, oh, you know, all the anti-Semitism on the left, all the anti-Semitism we already discussed of this like progressive movement on campus, the left media is mentioning genocide hundreds of times more than they did in Rwanda and Darfur. And I'm just like, okay, hold on. Like it's starting to feel like it's closing in. I know that sounds crazy, but from
no, it doesn't.
The extremes on both sides, I'm like, what is happening here?
What's happening is that the political center right now has collapsed. And those movements on what we used to think of as the far right or what we used to think of as the far left are gaining power. And again, there's reasons for it. People feel like the old kind of what's been called like the neoliberal consensus didn't work for a lot of people. So we're living in a moment of rising populist energies, again, for very understandable reasons. But populism, there's good populism and there's bad populism. The kind of populism that listens to the common sense of ordinary people, that's good. The populism that says the voice of the people is the voice of God. No, it's not. The right. Populism that says might makes right and what the majority of people are crying for must be true because they're the majority and that's not true at all.
As the temps start to rise, I get that familiar urge to refresh my closet. But I am done wasting money on trendy pieces that I wear once, which is why I'm obsessed with Quince. The clothes are timeless, elevated, built to last, no insane markup. I'm talking about 100% European linen shorts and dresses that start at just $30. Italian leather platform sandals, luxe swimwear that looks straight off a runway but costs half of what you'd expect. Quince partners directly with top-tier factories, cutting out the middleman so you get designer quality at a price that actually makes sense. And they only work with ethical, responsible manufacturers who care about people and the planet. Personally, I stocked up on the linen tees and the tanks, and believe it or not, a killer summer dress. Occasionally, I do wear dresses. And honestly, it finally feels like my wardrobe matches my standards. Upgrade your wardrobe at quince.com. Luxury should never mean compromise. Team, give your summer closet an upgrade with Quince. Go to quince.com/Jillian for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Jillian to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Jillian.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the podcast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And make sure to let me know what guests you want to see on in the future.